Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Just Keep Swimming podcast. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Mr. Adrian Jackson, and we're in the studio again with another great episode for you. And you already know who's with me. It's your boy, Mr. DJ, Mr.
1-3, mic check, 1-3. Something new we just came up with like 2 minutes ago, so welcome to that.
Yes. I just told bros he can't say one mic check 1 2 1 2 more. No. Mic check 1 3 1 3. We switching it up in the world. I love it.
You gotta recognize me by my name.
Exactly. Salute the guy.
But thanks for coming to the podcast again. We're ready for another week.
Yes, sir. We got another great episode lined up for you guys today. And we got a very special guest in the studio. Actually, one of my older brothers. True, been rocking with this guy for a long time. I remember me and him used to have lonely track meets together because everybody else was in trouble. We was the only ones that had good grades.
Yes, sir. Man, you bringing the old school memories.
Took it back, right? Look, probably made Doug reminisce like, damn. So bring to the microphone, I want to bring Detrick Sanford. Detrick, how we doing, bro?
Oh, man, I'm doing wonderful. Enjoying life as it is. Enjoying myself on vacation.
Yes, sir.
Just enjoying life right now.
That's good, man. That's good, man. Enjoy the vacation. I'm glad you're starting off the vacation with us, man.
Yes, definitely. I mean, what better place to be than be with friends and family, you know?
Yes.
And I think that's the biggest portion of, having vacations is to take a time to turn your brain off and just relax and chill and think about all the stuff that you don't get a chance to really think about.
Yeah.
Just go.
Yes.
So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying every bit of my vacation and looking forward to take another one like this.
I feel you on that one, bro. I'm gonna look for mine to come.
Yeah.
Start a new job. I got a long time though, but hey, we'll get there.
Make sure you take that time.
Yes, sir. So, Detrick, the reason that we brought you on the episode today is because, when we was helping Doug move, I found out that you were a firefighter.
Yes, sir.
And I found that super interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, you do big stuff for the community. I just want to salute you for everything that you do for us. You know what I'm saying? That. Make sure you taking care, protecting everybody in the world. And I just want to talk a little bit more about what it is to be a firefighter, And I meant to tell you, bro, I did something a little different today. I went online and posted, I posted a question for the people saying if anybody got a question to be a firefighter, send it to
sweet.
me.
Oh,
So we got some random questions from the guests out there listening. So it should be pretty fun today.
So live action.
Hey, call to action and join us.
Yes, join us. It's fun. It's fun. Yes, sir. So first and foremost, my first main question for you is what made you want to become a firefighter?
So I'll definitely share a couple different thoughts. And the unique portion about being a firefighter is that question is something you get asked all the time. It's like, obviously, why did you want to become a firefighter? What is it, or what's the reason why you want to do this? One of the interview questions that they typically utilize, or you're likely to get when you're even going through the interview process. And one of the things that essentially for me is I've always been in the field of service, right? So working in government, nonprofit, and even when I was substitute teaching or whatever, like I've always been in a place where I've been in service, if you will.
Right.
And that I took a moment and I left government and nonprofit for a little bit, and I worked at Faraday Future, which is a competitor to Tesla. So they were basically working on making another electric car as well.
Okay.
And I worked there for a year in their government relations division. And for the first time, it really didn't become about the money.
Right.
Because I was working in an area where it was about the company and it wasn't about really the people. And so conversations came through, opportunities came, and it was about, potential of becoming a firefighter. And it was one of those things where I was like, of course, it's one of those, a different way to be service, to be of service to individuals.
Right.
But it adds the physical standpoint, right? So you have the ability to kind of help individuals, which is one thing I always would do. Anybody ask me for help, whether it be working, like I said, in the public sector, with elected officials, or working at schools, or doing anybody ask me for something to help, like I am the one that's going to try to figure something out. People come up to me in the grocery store and stores and ask me if, because I look like I work there, and they ask me a question and I'm like trying to find an answer for them. I'm that person that wants to help. So
that's good.
The ability to kind of mold two things together, where you're serving the community but then you also have the physical aspect, the camaraderie, the brotherhood and sisterhood that comes along with the fire service was something that was appealing to me.
Really?
And, you know, everything that the fire service stands for when it comes to like that brotherhood, that sisterhood, the individuals that are always caring for others, it appealed. And so in addition to that, I mean, the fire service is about family. Like I had a couple individuals that I was around that was in the fire service, and like they always had time with their family, right? That was a priority of theirs. And so for me, it was like, well, of course, that's a priority of mine.
Right.
And so if they're able to make it a priority and it's something that they always do, then of course I'm in.
Right.
So, you know, among those are a couple items and things, but the point of just being a servant, right? I've worked in government for elected officials and whatnot, did campaign work and things, and it was always public service. And so this was just, you know, flipping into a different area of public service.
A different type of public service.
Yep.
And that's good though. So I like that. So you found an area where you can still use your heart in the way that you want to.
Definitely.
And you actually feel complete, I'm guessing.
Well, yeah, definitely. And complete, and, you know, it's one of those realities that no day is the same, right? So I'm one of those individuals that I can get bored, right? So in doing certain jobs, and, you know, 2 or 3 years is probably about my maximum, you know, on any job that I've had. And it's just for progression, it's for a challenge, it's for new opportunities, right?
Yeah, you're a grower.
I'm a grower, and the fire service kind of has all of that in one. So you come in as a entry-level firefighter, but there's so many options once you become a firefighter to go.
Right.
And so, I mean, there's, you know, paramedic, there's engineer, there's captain, there's bomb squad, there's TRT, which is the technical rescue team.
Wow.
There's fire investigators, there's arson investigators, I mean, like, you can become a chief. It's just so many places to go. And so it's one of those things where for someone like me that's kind of a busybody and wants to do more, I could have a stable job and still grow. Right. Without leaving. So it was one of those cool things, like, it fits my personality too.
Right. That's tight. That's real cool. I didn't expect to hear all that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys do so much. And that actually led me to my next question. So, like, what is, as a firefighter, I'm gonna mess this word up all day. As a firefighter, what is, like, your definition of a firefighter?
Oh, the definition. That's a good question.
Yeah, Adam, there we go.
My
goal is to get everybody to say good question.
That's a good question. I mean, so the reality is that if you were to look at the fire service and all of us that are firefighters itself, and say, what do we look like? We look like everyone that's around you, right? Right. Without uniform, we don't look like firefighters. Right. And that's I think the really unique and cool thing about being a firefighter is that people only know that you're a firefighter when you're in uniform. Yeah. It's the same thing like most first responders, like police officers and, paramedics and stuff like that. If you're not in uniform, you really don't know that you're there. Right. But the definition of it, or
like, how would you define it?
How would you define it is someone that is essentially willing to serve others. I mean, I would consider it that'd be an accurate definition of someone as a firefighter, because the reality is that when the tones go off in the station, and a lot of people have shared to us, like, you are actively going towards a scene where you don't know what's going to be going on. Yeah, and other people would be running from. Right. And so I think that's one of those realities that the typical personality of someone that's a firefighter is not thinking about that reality. Right. You know, we're going to provide the service that we've signed up to do. And so the definition is someone that's willing to serve, with the crazy reality that we may not come home, right? I never really think about that, but I've heard my wife mention it a couple different times that, the reality of it, when I go to work, that it's a possibility that I may not come home. And I never think about it, but those that are around us and in those circles, and especially like with historic events like 9/11 and things like that, those are things that go through people's minds. And I think it's a valuable thing when I'll tell you, everyone that I work with and came in contact that are in the fire service, that's not a thought that we kind of go through. It's just a matter of what we do. Is that service. So when the tones go off, when the call comes in, we're ready to go to work.
Right. This is what I'm here for.
Yep. That's what we signed up for. That's what we're here for. I think uniquely, I can share a story. So before I got hired, I was doing all the grinding and the work that it takes to get hired. So here locally, in a lot of different departments utilized, or we respond to both fire and EMS medical calls.
Right.
And so in that certification process, we have to get your EMT basic and your EMT advanced and to do those things. So in that process, you get the opportunity to do ride-alongs. So you can do ride-alongs with the private ambulances like AMR MedicWest out here, community or whatnot. And then you can also do ride-alongs at the fire stations and ride with those rigs or those staff. And so I had the opportunity I was doing my ride-along at, I want to say Station 24, County Station, right off the strip. And it was the day of October 1.
Oh, wow.
Really? And so I was at that station doing my ride along, got there, brought the crew donuts. We ran a couple calls, did a workout, the whole deal, and just kind of living that life for that day. And I was set to do a 24-hour ride. So I was going to stay overnight and still run calls with the crew. And myself and the other firefighter, and the firefighter at the time, where we got ready to kind of go down for bed. So it was around 9 o'clock. And we're just in the dorm area, right? So in firefighters, we sleep within like a dorm area. So it's an enclosed area, and there's just multiple bunks, but there's like a curtain or whatnot that separates those beds. And so we're sitting there, and I'm like, this is cool. I'm at a fire station, never stayed all night before. I'm gonna ride along, and he starts saying like, "Hey, did you hear that there's a shooter like on the strip?" And so I pick up my phone and I'm like scrolling through Twitter and Facebook and trying to see something. I was like, I don't see anything. No, I was like, no, there's nothing happening. He's like, no, I'm getting. So we're laying there about 10, 15 minutes, and he's like, no, there's something going on.
Right.
And just fast forward, so we go into the captain's office, and the captain turns on the radios, and then turns on the TV, and in the radio you can hear all the traffic that's saying like there's victims going to the Hooters Hotel, and there's victims going into the New York, and you're hearing like where all these individuals are moving around to. You turn on the TV and you hear like these reports that are happening. So it's like this is happening, and this station is literally like right across the 15.
Oh wow. And
the firefighter and the paramedic that were there, we all were in the captain's office listening to it, and the captain's listening to the traffic, and he's like, they're getting ready to call a second alarm. We're gonna get that assignment. And the firefighter was there, and he was like, hey, I'm ready to go. Like, why are we not going? Like, he was just antsy to get on scene and to be working. Like, for me, it was just, that's it, right? Like, someone that hears chaos, but is like, put me in.
Put me in, coach.
Put me in, coach. Like, that's my time. We're supposed to be there. We're too close not to be there. Like, when are we gonna go? And they're like, let us get the MagTac gear, which is the bulletproof gear. Like, we gotta go. And probably within about another 10, 15 minutes, the tones went off, and we were assigned to go down and do it. However, the captain on scene was like, look, we're gonna be down here for all night. My interview with the fire department that I'm working with now, with Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, was the next day. And so he's like, hey, the 15 shut down, take the 215 around, go get home, get your rest. But it was that moment of chaos, and then hearing the firefighters and individuals there saying, hey, it's time for us to go to work, was like, that's it right there. Like, I got it. Like, I want that right there, to be able to just be like, there's something going on that's that crazy, and their whole thought was, we need to be there and working and helping.
Right.
And so like that was like something I took into my interview, and I was able to share that the next day and say, hey, I was
down there
just at a station last night when this happened. It's fresh on everyone's mind, and I wanted to be there.
Right.
I may have been only been able to put on a tourniquet or stop some bleeding or whatever it may have been, but I wanted to be in that scene as
trying to help.
So that was one of those moments where it was like, you won't be able to duplicate it, but that feeling inside the station of people who want to just go and do their portion was like money for me.
Yeah, nah, that's deep, bro. Yeah, that is really deep.
I had no clue. Wow.
Yeah, I had no idea you experienced that either at all.
Yeah, that was, and everyone I know has their experiences, but for me, I was at a station that got called out, and like I said, seeing those people when they respond, and I think it's the same way I feel at the station. At times, not necessarily now, we have visitors, and the tones go out. It just kind of says what the call is or whatever else. Or maybe I'm on the phone with my family or friends or somebody, and we hear, you can hear the tones go out when you're at the station, and it'll say kind of categorize what the call is. So it can say stroke or traffic accident or gunshot, stabbing, or whatever, pregnancy. You hear kind of what the category of call is, and I get that same thing where it's like, gunshot, stabbing. Okay, I got a call. We go out, and you can hear that. And my thought is I'm just going to do what we're supposed to do. Yeah. And you, oftentimes people that hear it, my kids or whatever, it's like, are they okay or what happened? Because there's a different level of concern from those individuals that obviously aren't seeing this every day.
Yeah. That's crazy. So that's leading me to a question then. So, because that was one of my main questions, like, what is the mentality that you have when you hear those alarms go off? And I guess my question is do you feel that you're trained? Does the fire department train you to be that way? Or are you just built different, you feel?
So I think there's both, right? I think like anything else that anyone participates in, if it's a sport or even like training you how to write, putting a proper sentence together, a paragraph. There are certain elements you have to have. You have to have a noun, verb, whatever else, complete sentence, and the punctuation, right? For sports, you practice. So when you run this play, you do this and you condition. And so when you see this is how you react.
Right.
I think the one portion of it is the fire service has the element of running their academies, and that academy is a process where they do their training, right? And so when you come into that academy setting, the expectation is that you're training and you're learning to do the job, right? And so I think a portion of it is they teach you, right? So when this fire happens, this is how we're going to attack it. These are the tools that you're going to utilize. These are the strategies that we utilize in doing it. So they train you on one portion of it, but then I also think the other side of it is that it's the person that you are as well, right? There's some people like we can climb on, ladders. We're in confined spaces, and so if you're claustrophobic, you might not be able to do this job, right? If you are someone that can't stand to get hot, our turnout gear is hot, right? It's hot even without being in a fire, right? So it's 115 degree weather, and so when you're out here, taking care of a car fire or whatever it is, in that gear, your body is super insulated and then burning from like the inside out type deal. So if that is confining to you and you don't like that feeling, then it may not be for you as well. So I think there's a combination between training as well as it's just kind of who you are. There's a discussion of, or people make a comment of like dark humor. And so I think a lot of the stuff that first responders in general, so police, fire, even dispatchers, a lot of people don't think about the people that take the 911 calls. They're also first responders from the sense that they're hearing a lot of what's going on, chaos and whatnot. And immediately, once we're on scene, that call ends and they're answering the next call. And so those individuals that are responding and exposed to it, we deal with things a lot differently. Similar to military, there's things you see, there's things you hear, and it's just not normal, right? So I think there's definitely a type of person that is uniquely built for the job.
I was gonna say you have to be built for that. Like that has to be a part of your soul to want to go out there and be able to go out there and do what you need to do in those type of dynamic situations.
Oh, of course. But I also think too that, like I've always said this, you don't know until you know, right? When you're in the fields of like being a doctor, being a cop, being a nurse, being a firefighter, or whatnot, even like maybe a dentist, like there's certain things you don't see until you see it.
Until you get there, yeah.
You know, like, I mean, a dead body, for example. Okay, well, we've all seen, or a lot of people have seen a dead body at, like, say, a funeral.
TV.
Right? TV. Yeah. You've seen it. You know, someone being shot or whatever. You see the TV side of it, but when you see it, like when you go into a house and you see someone that actually just committed suicide, that's different.
Right.
And you don't get to experience that until it happens.
Right.
So either you internalize it, you're built for it, you talk it through, or you don't, right? And that's the unique thing, is like sometimes you don't know. I think some people, obviously, you don't know. Like,
right.
You have that call and you're like, I'm done, I can't do this. Most people don't necessarily have that, but I definitely think that
it's
there
possible.
are some that, when you're like, no, I'm good, I can't do that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, true, like you said, if you take it back to sports, you have some people that they want to be on the football team because they watched it on TV, but the second they feel that first, you know what I'm saying, that first hit, they done. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't want to play this no more.
Yeah, get the wind knocked out of you. You're like, I'm not.
This ain't for me.
For
so I fully understand it.
I couldn't be a boxer. I don't want to get hit in the face.
Real talk.
So I'm done. Like, I have to be the best or whatever.
I have to be the ultimate dodger.
Yeah, because I don't want to get hit in the face. I can't do that. I don't want to do that.
I understand. So I guess let's round off this whole airy section then. How do you let that go then? Like, cause you seem, I can't even imagine what you're seeing right now because you look like you just
chilling.
You look like you chilling, like you enjoying life still. You don't like you seen some wild stuff. So like, how do you let that go? How do you not sit on it?
So me personally, I think it's a short-term memory. You have to, and this is just me. Like, I can go run a call, and whether it be a car accident, code. What we call a code is like a cardiac arrest, where somebody's pretty much dying for, or their heart is stopped for some reason or another. It could be traumatic, or it could be natural, or whatever else. Where you providing CPR and doing that whole deal, where you run the call, and then we know. And this is the way I personally do it. I am making sure I stay up on the knowledge of how I should perform my job, right? So I'm responding in the fastest pace as possible, getting there and doing what I have to do. So a lot of people don't think about like having your equipment ready. Like, I can't show up on scene and not have what I need.
Exactly.
So making sure that I'm like, my rig is still stocked and has all those things. So when it's time to perform, I performed and done everything that I could. So once that call is over, it's over for me too, right? Like, I don't try to relive it. I don't snapshot and be like, well, what if? It's a short-term memory.
Is it more so like the fact that you prepare yourself to always do the best you can? And I mean, if you've done the best you can and something still doesn't work out or whatever happens,
that's it.
Like,
that's it.
What else could you do? You already did the best you can.
That's
so
it.
It's not like you hold any regrets.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. I mean, and not that, but if it's your time to go, it's your time to go.
Right.
And that's not my fault,
not your
right?
job,
It's not my decision. I'm doing everything that I can in that place. So, I probably seem real nonchalant. Like, my wife says I have no feelings, and it's not that that's the case, but I think I probably just look at stuff a lot real differently.
Yeah.
And it is. It's a short-term memory. Like, I did what I had to do, what was best to do, and I'm going to leave, and I'm going to transition from there, because I think that's where you go wrong, is when you dwell on it. And
the regrets and stuff.
Regrets, and you replay, and like, that's not it. So, honestly, we do the job and then keep on going.
Right, and that's beautiful. I'm going to take it back to football again. They always say practice amnesia. You know what I'm saying? Forget that last play and get ready for the next one.
Exactly.
So that's deep. So you truly practicing in real life every day.
Yeah, you gotta do it. I mean, because, these are, the lifespan or the career of career firefighter is like the contracts now are up to retirement and whatnot is like 20, 30 years. Mm-hmm. So you're doing 20, 25, 30 years, spending this much time running calls and seeing different things. Over that 20 years, you're going to see a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you take year one and just compile it on every single year, you be wiped out.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. And I'm not gonna act like it doesn't get to individuals. There are individuals that I've heard that literally are just they've had a bad call or something that's came back and it just hit them again, like remembering a call, like a current call reminded them of a call they had a long time ago, PTSD. And there's guys that do go out and gals that go out on PTSD that they can't sleep, that they just can't, and end up maybe retiring or not doing the job anymore. So
right.
I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, and we have mental wellness, individuals to assist us and whatnot, but it can happen.
Yeah.
The goal is, and I think, like I said, I'm on vacation right now. You got to be able to take those mental breaks.
Relax.
You got to be able to relax. You got to have your outlets, whether it be, painting or working out or just taking a vacation or whatever it may be. Like, you got to have your vice to let that stress out, because we do kind of keep a lot of stuff to ourselves, or at least we see stuff and then it just goes, and wherever it goes. But of course, at some point, it can come out. Yeah, it can come out and bite you in the butt. But right now, it's good. Right now, my little bucket is empty. I ain't thinking about nothing.
That's good. That's good. I would say, your sirens going off right now.
Yeah, we stations. You gotta respond. It's funny because people always say, "Oh, you're here, you're a firefighter," and I kind of look at that. I'm off right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have my equipment
to do what you need to do.
To do what I need to do. So if something was to happen, I'm gonna call 911, just like you gonna call 911. Like, I respect and appreciate you. I can acknowledge the fact that I'm a firefighter, but right now I have no equipment. We at your house, or we in the backyard, or we hanging out, we at the store. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be able to do just as much as you. Call 911 and maybe start CPR or something like that. But beyond that,
you need help though. You need real help. You need backup.
Yeah, real backup got to get here.
Right.
I'm off, and I'm off.
Yeah, you off.
So,
you off duty. That's real.
If it ain't nothing I can do, then call 911. Somebody's on duty. They'll come and take care of this problem for you.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's still a job at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta have a work-life balance.
Truly understand. So, all right. So another question for you, Detrick. Then, so I know we talked a lot about the mental just now, and I'm glad we got a lot in that mental. I guess I just want to talk a little bit about like the physical. Like, what physical requirements do you have to constantly do to make sure you stay tip-top shape, or what? Okay, let's start off. What physical requirements does it take to be a firefighter? Okay, and then what do you have to do to keep that going?
Stay in shape. Got you. So. Most of the hiring departments require, this is what I would say a basic item. It's called the CPAT. It's called the Candidate Physical Agility Test, CPAT. So you can Google it or search it up. It's videos that show what those are. It's a succession of events that give you the quote-unquote physical ability to say you could perform the job, right? It's like 3 minutes on a Stairmaster with 90-pound vest, so 50 pounds, and then some additional weight, so it's like about 90 pounds. Stairmaster, a hose pull, equipment carry, ladder raise, door breach, search in like a dark space, a body drag, and then what they call a pike pull, where it's like trying to mimic pulling down the ceiling, like if you're trying to pull down the ceiling to expose the fire, right?
Right.
So that's a course that you have to do, that most departments require you complete that course with a passing time to then go through their application process.
Right.
So that's like the baseline standard. Now, the physical standard that the academies put you through is like where I thought the CPAT was something difficult. By the time I finished my academy, which was a 6-month academy, the CPAT was like playing at the playground.
Oh wow!
Right?
Really? It was just enough to see if you allowed to be in the group.
Yeah, it's just kind of it just filters out those individuals that can't meet the bar, and then the academy raises it to a whole nother level. And so like the academy itself prepares you physically, incrementally, but there's the things that you're carrying or that you're preparing for that they prep you for when it comes to like obviously your endurance. It's a lot of people say legs and lungs is what firefighters have a lot of or need to have a lot of when it comes to doing what we ideally don't want to do, but we do have to do at times is that firefighting piece.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, we have a wide variety of people that you got your weightlifters, you got your CrossFitters, you got your runners, you got your bikers, you got all types of individuals that make up the fire service. The reality is you just got to be dedicated to actually putting in the work
And keeping yourself together.
And I love the podcast name, the Just Keep Swimming, because the reality is that you just got to keep going. And so the academy puts you through a scenario or situations where you mentally want to quit physically from the physical things that they put you through. But they also push you past those points where you didn't know you had.
Right.
And so now it kind of unlocks it. Oh yeah, I can do that.
That's right.
And so, for example, in the academy we did something they called the Bonanza. And so
That sounds bad already. Yeah.
We had already did about an hour and a half of normal morning PT already, which is running, your calisthenics, your what they call gauntlets, which is pretty much like event after event of doing things. You're in your full turnouts and your air pack and all that kind of stuff. And so this day we're doing the Bonanza. So the RTO, the training officer, comes and we got split up in groups. And he says, okay, the first thing, or he said, we're going to start off, make sure you're timing yourselves, and you got 100 burpees. And do a lap, and then you got 200 push-ups. And when he said 100 burpees, I was done. I was like,
I checked out already.
Like, there's nothing to do after
100 burpees.
Yeah.
Right? So he said, there's a lap, and then you got 200 push-ups. And I'm like, and then after that 200 push-ups, you got another lap, and you have 100 sit-ups. Then after that lap, you got another lap, and then you got 50 pull-ups. And then after that, you got another lap.
Oh, wow.
And then you have the 50 pull-ups, and then you got what was it? It's 4-count flutter kicks or 3-count flutter kicks, right?
Right.
And another lap. And so, so that's that mental, physical portion.
Right.
Where I remember to this day, it took me an hour and 6 minutes to do that.
Wow.
And so when you say the physical, like fitness, like that's the type of physical fitness you get put through, because we already had PT for the day. That was an additional workout, and that wasn't the only time we did. We did it again the next day, and so that was look, Wednesday, Thursday, and Monday, that same workout.
Oh,
Right
wow.
after the weekend?
Over again. And so it was like, but I mean, we did it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I was able to get through it, and that's where that mental thing, physical
barrier,
and physical barrier comes in. So like now, summer, heat of the summer, I work out at the park. I work outside. I'll put on my turnout jacket, run, miles, do whatever my things are. I'm more of a body weight person. I don't do the gym.
Right.
But I'll put on my turnout jacket and I'll do me a good hour, 45-minute workout in the heat in my jacket, which most people would be like, you crazy. But you got to practice like you play. So the reality is that, the 15, 20, 25 minutes that we're out there and possibly, taking care of house fire or a car fire or whatever we need to be doing, I don't need to be the one passing out or not getting acclimated. So to the heat. So there's those pieces of the puzzle where it's like you can't have that quit mentality.
Right.
You cannot quit when there's a someone that needs you on the other side. because your cardio is not to where it needs to be and you're out of breath or you're out of air or you're not strong enough to force the door,
right,
or whatever it be, like you don't want to have that on you. So the training and the physical side of it is huge because you want to be able to do the job.
You want to be able to do anything. Yeah, you want to be able to walk in there and just be able to act. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I like that.
So, and of course, adrenaline helps you out, but you want to be able to do it.
You want to be able to control that adrenaline, though. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, shoot, if your base form is that strong already, by the time you hit the adrenaline, like you almost double that.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, like, you know, a fire, like a nice ripping fire where you got the 4 tones that go off and you're in the rig and you got lights and sirens and you're getting all packed up and everything. I said it's near the feeling of sex without the release. Like it's just it's
coming. It's a tease.
It's like it's an amazing feeling to have a fire and just be putting in the work. You know what I mean? And when you're done, you're like, oh. We get some ice cream. Yeah, you kill that. You know, like it's just, but it's what you do. It's what you train for. You know, it's like individuals. You want to get to the Super Bowl. You want to like how often you get a chance to do that is not right. The 90% of our calls are medical. Right. So the real or ripping fires come, you know, every now and again. And so when you get it, it's like, yeah, I got that. But then you also have your medical calls that are going to come through and balance that out. Or
that's it. I like it. I like it, bro. That was beautiful. So I believe we already touched on the mental, the physical, emotional as well, because you talked about how you got to let it go and you have to just roll it off and stuff.
That's right.
So last but not least, spiritual. So what do you have to do spiritually to be in this profession?
So
for you, at least for you.
Spiritually for me, and you know, I'm definitely a Christian, and so I realize that I have a unique purpose in this profession, right? And what I do. And so you see people on their worst day. Right? So I used to be a limo driver, and when I was limo driving, I saw people in their best day. So their best day was they're, you know, here for their 21st birthday, they're here for an anniversary, they're getting married. Like the best day as a limo driver is amazing. Everybody's happy. But as a firefighter, we see people on their worst days.
Yes.
Where they're losing a loved one, where someone has just had a tragic accident,
lost their house,
where someone, I mean, and even someone as simple as like they can't breathe, right? Like people having asthma attacks, or someone that came home to someone that was having a stroke, or someone that may have overdosed, right? Like there's so many situations, a domestic violence situation we may come to. There's a number of things that we get called to. Somebody that, you know, they left their gas on, and so there's a smell of gas inside their home. You know what I mean? Like we see people on their worst days, and from the spiritual side of it is that I feel like I have a purpose to be there to be understanding
and bring it back up
to answer the call. But then I have a heart, right? I had a call just last week, and the lady, you know, there was a sister, and then the mother passed away, right? And so being, you know, we're having to tell you know, the daughter that her mother just passed. You know, the lady was elderly, but still, like, you want to share that in the most compassionate and delicate way
as possible.
And not just be that person that says, oh yeah, they're gone. You don't want to be cold, right? So for me personally, I want to make sure that when I'm on scene, that I'm providing the highest level of care and understanding. And that loops back around to like another one, the reason why I want to be a firefighter and want to continue in my push. I'm actually going to go to paramedic school. And so when my grandmother was sick, I came home to her and she was out on the floor, and Las Vegas Fire and Rescue responded. And they knew something was wrong. Like at that point in time, I didn't have any medical experience. So I didn't know what was wrong with her. I just knew she wasn't responding. She wasn't with her normal. And they came, they handled me professionally. They knew that there was something wrong with her, that we needed to get her to the hospital, and they did that, right? And we got to the hospital. They said that she only was gonna have like 24 hours to live, that whatnot, and she subsequently came home the next day and lived for another week, right? So for me, I feel like because they knew what they were doing, it gave me another week with my grandmother.
Yeah.
And so the shift for me is that on that spiritual side is that I want to be or have the opportunity to give that same thing to someone that I may end up going in the house with,
right,
that may have that same scenario.
Yeah. Performing
to the best of my ability, to top level, and then caring for that person in that time. And so spiritually, it's one of those things where, look, I pray, like sometimes going to a call, or maybe on scene when there may be chaos, or maybe just in a station in general for like that peace and calm, because the reality is that we don't know what we're gonna see.
Right.
We don't know what we're gonna get, right? And the simple fact for it to be, for us to be safe, and for those things that we're going to be safe. And so while we may go on tragic things, other things may not need to be so tragic, or may not need to happen.
Right.
And so that's like one of my things there. And like I literally have a prayer life, and I have no problem in like praying with family members if that's what something that they're comfortable with,
to help them feel better. Yeah.
And then in doing so, because you want to be able to connect and know that people are there. And so for me, I want to be who I am to these people if they want it to be, and understand that that's who I can be for these individuals.
Right.
When doing that type of job, it's kind of like you need to definitely have the love for the people that you're going to, and spreading love.
Yeah.
Is so important.
It's huge. I mean, there's always some bad apples, right? There's bad apples in everything, and I won't say that like there's best bad people everywhere, right? In some form or fashion, that just have they're not there for the right reasons, or they're burnt out, or it's just not the right spot for it. And for me, is instead of being someone that's not the right person for it, like my goal is to always be the person on scene that is going to be as caring and understanding as possible, and to handle everyone as professional as they can, to where, because the reality is you're gonna remember how I treated you.
Right.
You ain't gonna remember what I did.
No.
I could honestly, because when you call 911, you're calling because you don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So if I come and do the wrong thing, you don't really know that because you don't know what I'm doing. But how I treat you is what you're gonna remember.
Right.
Did I speak to you like a human being? Did I act in a professional manner? Was I calm? Did I make sure everything was okay? I mean, sometimes we have these seniors that their concern is just making sure their animals have food or water, or like who's gonna lock their door when we leave, or like those are things that actually happen. And so while we may be getting them to the hospital, I have to also make sure, yes, we left, we put some additional food in the bowl. We'll make sure we try to call someone, or if you can call someone at the hospital, make sure they check on the animals, and we lock your door, here are your keys. Like there's all those little simple things that we still have to make sure when it comes to like a service and a customer service standpoint,
right,
that we still put in place. So those are like in the forefront of understanding that we leave an experience with everybody we deal with.
Right. No, and that's 100% real. So like, random story. One time in Reno, we went to this catfish fry, and I guess I didn't eat enough beforehand, worked out before, whatever. Either way, I'm outside in front of the school and I passed out.
Right?
Pass out, wake up, able to walk to the Joe, sit into the Joe, and the firefighters are the first one to come on scene to, make sure to check my vitals and all that jazz.
Right.
And I don't remember the interaction with the ambulance. Because when the ambulance came up, I just now started remembering. When the ambulance came up, the firefighters came, checked my pulse, told me my blood sugar was low. I ate something right then and there. They checked my pulse again. Okay, you good now, whoop whoop. We gonna get out of here. The ambulance is on the way though. They're gonna check you again because they have to. I'm like, okay, bet. The ambulance got there. It seemed like, you ready to go to the hospital? And it was like, oh damn, y'all didn't even ask me how I'm feeling really. Like y'all just want me to get out of here. Like y'all trying to get me in this ride to get this money or whatever it was.
Right.
So I kind of like, the firefighters, I did feel people coming out just for my concern, and they want to help me out, and they told me like, yeah, if you don't go to the hospital, don't go to the hospital, bro. You good? You need this, that, and the third. But the ambulance came out there and made it seem like you need to do this, you need to do that. You have to do this to take care of yourself right now.
No, it's huge to understand like when you actually have a true emergency that requires that transport to the hospital, or where you have the ability to do something a little bit different. And I think, shortness of breath and loss of consciousness and some of those are things that you definitely need to get checked on. But I think there's also moments where, that, $1,000 ride, do you really need that $1,000 ride? Right. Or can we just, get you stable to a point and then you make another decision or whatnot? Go on your own, maybe. And that's how I felt. I think that a portion of patient care and advocacy is understanding that difference. Yeah. While and stressing that, but then also realizing like at the end of the day, I have to understand that it may not be my specific goal or purpose to understand how you pay your medical bills, but I also think that I can be responsible enough to understand that if you passed out, your sugar was low and now it's back up, and that's something that you just didn't know, but you're all back in, you're good. You don't need that $1,000 ride, and I'm not giving you now something that's gonna go on your credit, and then now it'd be this whole situation where
I feel hustled by the hospital or something like that. Exactly. No, that's 100% real, bro. That's 100% real. And I think that's why I want to try to get across like that. They gave me that sense of security. You know what I'm saying? I really felt that sense of security by the time they left. It was kind of like, man, I'm ready to go right now. But I had to wait for the ambulance. But, it was like they gave me that sense of security of, oh, bro, you good.
It's good.
You passed your test. You good. You college student. You young. We understand what's happening. Right. What's going on here? And then they started talking about the environment, and changing the subject and making me feel normal. Yeah. And that was good.
That's definitely the job, for a lot of the departments here locally and whatnot. You do fire and medical calls. So we have rescues that are just pretty much like ambulances. We run our higher level calls, and so it's important, right? The safety and the health of our community and the people we run on is really important, and so you want to be able to do that.
Right. I like that, bro. I love it, man. I love it. All right, so we're going to flip it to our other segment now and ask you some questions from the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the question for the audience. We're going to like that.
Uncut.
Yeah, it's uncut, raw. We're going to start off as raw as possible. So first question from the audience is, do you have a calendar and where can we find it? Yeah,
calendar. A calendar.
Fireman calendar, holding the hose, wearing the overalls. Calendar. You got a calendar. That's the question.
So, I will say if you happen to be scrolling through my own personal phone, there may be a photo or two that in that Prime Academy, that I might have some suspenders on. But this fireman here is taken, so there's no official calendar to be published. Now, I do feel that they should allow us married firemen to still do calendars, because somebody should, they might still want to see
you,
they may not be able to take me on a date, but they might be able to see. So we, I don't know.
Wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing wrong with showing a little candy, Well, they ain't tasting it,
It's like we don't look at models in magazines and say like, oh, they're married, I don't want to look at them. You just look and you think.
That's a lucky guy.
Going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you keep rolling.
So I don't officially have one, but the bachelor auction happens every year though, and it just happened maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. There's an annual bachelor auction. There are actually some young ladies on the fire service, firefighters as well, that were included this year. So
really?
No specific calendar, but at the auction next year, you're able to bid on some amazing prizes, staycations, and things like that that you could usually have that bachelor or bachelorette accompanied with the prize or whatnot. So there's definitely some options out there.
That's tight. Okay, I'm gonna throw that out there. Make sure you check it out. Look for the bachelor option.
Did you write down the people who submitted? Like a shout out?
Shout out.
I say.
All right, Miss Hardy, that was for you. Your episode's coming up soon. You already know. All right. So my next question comes from one of my coworkers at work, actually. So he was wondering, because he was like, firefighters, I guess you guys don't work a full week. You guys work like a certain, like how's the shift work?
Yeah, so we got which I think is pretty cool. So we work a 48-96 work week. So we work 48 hours on, so 2 days straight at the station, and then 4 days off, 96 hours off.
Okay.
So it continues to rotate. So essentially, on a schedule, say I work today and tomorrow. So today is Thursday, right? Yeah. Thursday, Friday. So that's my 2 days, 48 hours. My next time at work would be Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh, wow.
Right? And then the next time would be Tuesday, Wednesday. And it just continues to function that way, which adds up to about 10 days a month.
Oh, okay.
So 10 days a month is the schedule. And it goes like that. I have my actual full schedule for the whole year printed out. It's in the car. It's in the fridge. Yeah, I know exactly what days I work.
And then it's 10 days a month, 48 hours straight through, and that's any time of the night. Like,
yep. So
7 a.m.
the best way I like to explain living in a firehouse, and this is the cool part about it, it's like living at home, right? So we all, you live in a home, you sleep in a bed, you got a kitchen, you got a shower, you got
game room,
weight room, game room, you got washer and dryer. We live in the firehouse, right? That's what we call it, the firehouse. And we have our bunks and our beds, and we're there with the crew that we work with. We're there for 2 days. So we come in, we cook our lunch, our dinner, snacks, cookies, whatever it is. And when your phone rings, like when you're at home, you answer it. When our tones go off, we answer the call. We go, run the call, come back to the house. So that's it. So we're there for that full, 48 hours. And then once that 48 hours is on, somebody else coming in, we go home.
Do you have like back-to-back calls in a sense? Like, so you just finished the call and then boom.
I was about to ask
Oh yeah. It definitely happens. You can have back-to-back calls. I mean, I've had calls where we miss meals, right? We miss lunch, we miss dinner, or we eating cold dinner because, as soon as it's funny, we laugh at it, but it's one of those things where it's like sometimes you just, if I just had a hot meal today, because you can get back to back to back. We left, I think our first call was probably around 11 in the morning, and we didn't stop running calls till about 9, 10 that night.
Oh, wow.
And so it's, you pick up, you take to the hospital, you come back. On the way back, you may be at the station 15, 20 minutes, and then you get another call, right? Fix your meal, literally sit down, get ready to eat, and it's the same thing. When your phone ring, right? So you get ready to sit down, the phone ring, all right, we out.
Gotta go,
you fix your place, everybody else cool enough to wrap it up, put in some tinfoil, but when you get back to it, it's, it's probably cold.
Yeah, microwavable.
Yeah, so take like 3 bites and you go.
Yeah, and so uniquely enough, right? Taking those 3 bites is taking away time from getting to that call.
And that's where I was like, there's the morality.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like if you just fix the plate and the tones went off, then you just up and out the door. Because the reality is that I know for me, right, you don't want to get, and I tell you, you don't want to get on scene and to think if I would have just been here
2 seconds
ago, right? You never want those moments. So it'd be stomach growling.
Yeah.
But you do what you gotta do, and then get back. So sometimes, you got snacks. I'm a snacker. I have snacks. So I have, gum or some peanuts or whatever else. And on the way to the call, we driving. So on the way to the call, I might be
munching on something.
Yeah, munching on a cookie or peanuts or whatever.
Something
just
to
get
growl.
something. Yeah, something to stop the growl, while you're going. But that's the schedule, 48-96. Here, there's a lot of different types of schedules, but for the most part, 24 hours is a standard shift with some days off. So pretty much it's double the days you work is your time off.
Okay.
Kind of that's what it is.
And then, so the follow-up on that question was, are you guys allowed to have quote-unquote side gigs during that time? Like your 4 days off, can you do bartending or something, or some type of other work if you wanted to?
Yeah.
They don't stop you or any regulations?
No, you're off. So the only thing that's required is we have what we call mandatory or forced hires. Mm-hmm. So if you do have some type of personal or second job or side gig or whatever that you do on your days off, if you were to be mandatory or force hired to do the job on one of those days off, then whatever that other thing is can't interfere where you can say, I can't do it because I'm there. Right. So if you're bartending, you can't, say, or you get force hired tomorrow and say, well, I can't come to work because I'm working somewhere else. Right. This role takes precedence. Yes. Yeah. But there's a number of firefighters that have businesses, on the side that they do additional other jobs, other hobbies. I mean, the reality when you kind of look at it and, you get 20 days off a month.
Exactly. You got to fill some time with something.
You can fill it with all kinds of things. Yeah. That's right. It's one of those flexible things that is definitely there. Like I teach EMS classes at the EMS training center.
Okay.
So on my days off, I go and I teach individuals how to do the basic life skills classes, the different skills. Mm-hmm. So on my days off, I go and I do some additional teaching, right? Just kind of giving a little bit more.
Right.
And so, the answer to that is, you can, on your day off, is your day off.
Day
off,
do what you want to do.
You sleep all day or go make some extra bread.
That's good. Yeah, I just want to make sure, because I think, I feel like Vanjie had something like that. Like, she couldn't do some other side jobs or something, right?
I think it was probably when either she worked at the jail or I think she did first responders on the phone for a little bit.
Yeah. It was something, where she couldn't do other side jobs because that had to be priority or something.
Oh, okay.
But don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that one at all. So next question is, and this right here comes from Miss Esdell. Miss Jessica, how you doing, babe?
Hey.
So she asks, do you have to take every call? Like, literally, is there ever a time where you can be like, man, I ain't going this time, or anything like that?
No.
Hell no.
You at work. You getting paid to do a job.
Okay.
So, a little bit part of that, right? So, remember when I was asking you, do you get back-to-back calls?
Right.
I was going to say, I guess that just depends on where the thing is, but I was going to say, would there be, does the company, or does not the company, but the fire station offer, a minimum break period between calls, or no? It's just because you're on the clock 24 hours or 48 hours.
You are on the clock. You are being paid to serve the citizens that you're there for. I have had at moments where I have been awake for 48 hours just because the calls come in enough, or at times not even just the calls come in, but at some point you can't sleep. Like, you're not sleepy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So the reality is you're awake in the daytime for the most part. You should sleep at night, but I'm awake in the daytime. Now, our daytime is not just sitting doing nothing, right? We have daily chores and things that we do. So we're cleaning the rigs, we're cleaning our equipment, we're doing inventory, it's a house, so we're doing just like you would do at home, cleaning the floors, washing the dishes, doing the kitchen stuff, whatever. So training, we don't there's days where we are training, so we're running scenarios when it comes to our EMS stuff. We're running fire scenarios. We're doing training to stay certified at our levels. So those things happen throughout the day, on top of training with your own crew. So you want to make sure that when we get on scene, we're communicating and know what we're supposed to be doing and who's doing what. So you have your own personal training. Like my crew, we work out together. So we have a time throughout the day where we work out, and so we might work out and then get a call in the midst of the workout. I've gone to a number of calls sweaty because I was just in 40 minutes into a workout, and we get a call, and so you head to the call, you run the call, you come back. You may try to finish your workout, or you may not, right? Mm-hmm. We have a requirement to where you at least work out at least an hour every day. So it's happening. But the ability of catnapping or whatever else, or taking hitting the pause button, it doesn't exist. You want me at your door
as soon as possible
when you dial 911. You don't want somebody from a station, further away to kind of make that call. If I'm not at the hospital, then I need to be available and coming to you.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know, the reality is when you say you want to be a firefighter, like those are the things that you should be thinking about, and it goes through your mind. And you say yes, whatever I could do, I want to do it. That's a part of that whatever. Like not sleeping for 48 hours or for a good portion at a time. Like that's part of it. And yeah, so I understand. You know, you want to be like, but. And that's the difference, right? When
that's the level. That's a separator, right
that's
there.
A separator.
You can't have no bad days. You
don't have that, and you're being paid, right? Like it's not like when you're at work from 9 to 5 or whatever. You're cool. You're being paid, and then when you go home, you're not being paid no more. That whole 48 hours of that
on the clock.
I'm on the clock. I'm being paid. I'm being paid to get woken up, right? So I can't be upset about getting woken up because I'm getting paid for that. I'm getting paid to have my meals interrupted. I'm being paid to, you know, not to be lethargic and sleepy and be able to push through it. I'm being paid to get, you know, back-to-back fire calls and be able to perform. So
I was gonna say, like, do you get delirious a little bit because if you stay up?
Yes.
So how does that go? Like, how do you?
So you definitely can get loopy and delirious. I've had it a number of different times, right? The department does have a fatigue rule, so you cannot work anything more than 3 days in a row.
Okay.
So you can't work anything over 72 hours. Captains and your crews we understand how important sleep is. So whatever training you have going on, whatever calls and stuff you're running and whatnot, it's not abnormal to get a nap in, right? So, and you kind of have to get them when you can because you don't know if you're going to have them, right?
Yeah.
There's been days, and it all depends on the area you're in or the calls that it may have. Like, there's days where you may not get one call.
Right.
And there's a days, but in not getting that one call, you're not just like, okay, I'm gonna sleep all day because you don't know. You're anticipating that you may get one, right?
Yeah.
And then there's days where you may get 15. You just never know, right? So, like my favorite spot is the recliner. I can get there under the cold air and catch a good, 20-minute, 30-minute. If I get it, then I'm still refreshed. So a lot of individuals or crews or captains or individuals are proactive and they support, like, we call it safety naps, right? So the reality is when you get woken up a couple times, you're kind of delirious from being awake, we are responsible for those individuals that we're transporting, that we're serving, and we're dealing with. And you don't want to have that brain fog.
Yeah.
So, you got to get the nap in. Another thing too is I don't drink coffee, but that's the thing in the fire service. Like, coffee is constant. There's a coffee pot always on at some point with coffee in it, ready to go with people that utilize.
Drink tea.
I don't drink anything hot really. So my thing is water. I'm like constantly staying. You gotta stay hydrated, and then I do water and fresh fruit and stuff like that to kind of go with it. But
that's good.
But yeah. I mean, like, when it says going to sleep or not, get your nap when you can, and then you just gotta go.
Like I said, it's that sacrifice.
That's what we sign up for.
Yeah, that's what you sign up for, man. Yeah. That's real. And then, so our very last question, I forgot if we actually sent it, but our very last question is what is your craziest story? We already heard what happened on October 1st?
Yeah.
October 1st, but, let's talk about your craziest story with you actually official fighter. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So, if you've never watched it, there's a gentleman called the Firefighter Chronicles. As a guy, he's hilarious. You gotta look it up. He does all these videos, and he talks about kind of like our life because, the questions like, what's the craziest thing? And he actually has a video on this actual question. And so the reason I reference it is because it's funny because part of that short-term memory, craziest thing, you make me have to dig
deep, yeah,
and figure out what that is. And then the reality, and his video just depicts it so much. It's like, what people, when you ask that question, what you really want to hear based off of, or in comparison to what the real answer is.
Right.
Right. So, I'm gonna answer the question, but I don't know that I don't know which answer I'm gonna give you. So let me think.
Yeah, marinate on it, bro.
The craziest thing. What kind of crazy? Like, give me
I want crazy that caught you off guard. You know what I'm saying? Because you signed up knowing, okay, I'm gonna see a dead body. I'm gonna see some fires. I'm gonna, have to catch some cats out the tree and stuff like that. But what is something crazy
I'm allergic to cats. I don't do cats.
Well, you know what I'm saying though. So like, what is crazy to you that you just like when you got that call, you were like, what? We do this too, or it's just
what shook you up the most, like you personally in your own like individual experience as a firefighter. What got under your skin the most, or what got under your skin the most? What was the craziest thing?
Oh, Donovan going deeper than me.
Yeah. He trying to see.
Donovan trying to make you wake up some wild stuff.
Yeah.
But there's no specific like area for that question, so like you have to go with your experience.
You have to go with.
Yeah, that's.
So I'm gonna definitely think, because the funny thing is, the funny thing is like the stuff that I remember the most is all the like the stupid stuff, right? Like the person that is, especially like when edibles and stuff came around, like and it first came around, and you get a person that is like just on the floor high, and they don't know what to say, they don't know what to do,
can't respond,
and they're just in that world, in that space, and it's like I can't breathe, and it's just you're kind of like, all right, you're doing what we're supposed to do. So you got like crazy stuff like that, or you got what's even really, I gotta think about it, because the funny stuff is I should have known this question was coming.
Yeah, you already knew it was coming. You should have had something lined up.
Yeah, I should have had like my little Rolodex of things. Yeah. The crazy stuff.
Okay, how about your craziest fresher story? Like just recent, I guess.
Fresh.
It's been a long 2 days, man.
Yeah, I know.
It be 2 days, and you gotta think like let me see. I gotta look and see maybe because sometimes I'll put a little like reminder and say, okay, make sure to tell this story, because like right, because it's something that's it's something that's it's more so funny, deep. Okay, I can say, so this is probably a crazy one. It didn't happen not too long, about maybe a couple months ago. It's a drowning. And so drownings are like, those are like those are calls that are similar to like your fires and stuff. Because from a drowning standpoint, it's typically a kid. Right. So you want to make sure that you get there and whatnot.
As fast as possible, yeah.
So this one, it comes in as drowning. We get more information as we're going en route, and it's an adult. So then that throws you off, because you're like, that doesn't make sense that there's an adult. And then fast forward, get on scene, and it's a guy, in the the brother found him in the tub. He was pretty much dead, drowned, and so we go in and we're checking, so we're verifying everything, seeing what's going on, and he had been like burned, and we don't know how or anything else, but it was pretty crazy. Turned off the shower, and like his skin was like kind of like sloughing off. It was a pretty, it was a weird, and so I guess to add to this is something when you think about it, something what I remember. So he had a huge dog. I don't even know what kind of dog it was, but it was just sitting, like, say for instance, the bathroom was in the room. He was sitting on a couch that was at the edge of the bed, and the dog was just sitting there. And it It didn't act like it knew we were in the room. It didn't whimper. It didn't do anything. And so those are like the weird things, right? When you're the scene. I mean, that the fact of what happened was really weird. But the typically dogs are like they're really protective, or you know what I mean. They act a certain way, and that dog literally was sitting on the couch and didn't even act like we were in the room.
Deep.
And that was, it's one of those things where because we're going in, like Metro was on scene first, so we go in and we're going to him, and then of course we're like, okay, we've did whatever we need to do, and you turn back out and you're leaving, and you're like, dang,
it's a dog here.
That's a big old, like, you didn't hear it bark, it didn't say, and it was just literally just sitting there, like.
That's deep.
And I was like, okay, that, the dog was there. Because normally, sometimes you got circumstances where you need to, like, call, animal control to be able to get to someone because the dogs are being that protective. Or, where you're figuring those things out, or you can hear them barking in the door behind you or whatever else. Like, that one was just right there. So I would probably say that was definitely one of those weird, like.
Weird moments, yeah.
Like, that was kind of weird.
That's deep. Like, do you think like the dog could sense what was going on in the room or something, and like felt y'all were here to help, or
maybe
But even then, like even if he.
But like I had another so another one. Oh, this is the pretty decent one too. So we get a call. This is like 2-3 in the morning. Go to a house, and the guy they call and say he's not breathing. So get there, dude's high. Like, he overdosed. Mm-hmm. So he overdosed. He was really, really low on breathing. So we wake him up with Narcan. And he's like, I'm good. I don't need to go. And like, dude, you were just about to be dead, And so transport him, come back, getting ready to pull him to the station. So this is that back-to-back call thing. Getting ready to pull in, get another call. And it's one street over from where we just went.
Wow. So
we go back. It ends up being his girlfriend, and she obviously she's now overdosed on the corner with the little dog. She left with the little dog. Now that little dog didn't weigh more than like 8 pounds, and it did not let us get near her. It was like barking, getting like biting at us towards like, I mean, mind you, we're trying to get to her because she's passed out.
Right.
So like talking about the dogs, like that dog wasn't letting us get anywhere near her.
Right.
Where the other dog was a little bit different. So
that's deep.
Funny one I'm talking about now. These all overdose wake ups. There's another dude. He was overdosed and woke, like gave him the Narcan, woke him up. And we're asking him questions because he's like kind of back alert and whatever else. He's like, okay, you have any medical history, and like he wakes up and he's straight jokes. He's like, weight. He's like, oh man, bro, I'm just fat. And it's like 3 minutes ago you were not breathing. And
now you cracking jokes.
Some Narcan, and the first thing you cracking jokes. So you got the spectrum. I mean, you got the spectrum of
see everything,
of stuff like that. You got, women over 40, 50. They, when you gotta do 12 leads around the breast and stuff, they you like, they unbuttoning for you. I haven't been touched like this in a while. I mean, you get some crazy stuff from folks. I mean, so you see a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, you see a whole bunch of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's fun. It's fun. Good. No day is the same. The crews and the people I work with is amazing. And the funny thing to me is like most people don't really know about it, right? Like, you don't know. Like our track coach, Coach Roy, was a firefighter.
Really?
Yeah.
I know that.
Retired as a chief. And that's the same thing for me. I knew him as my track coach. I didn't know him as a firefighter.
Right. That makes sense though, because he's missed practices random times. Like sometimes he missed Tuesday, sometimes he missed Thursday. You like what?
Right. And so most people don't see firemen, firefighters, whatnot in uniform. You just see them when they do what they do.
Right.
So I think it's one of those things, and that's why I'm glad for the invite to be here and to kind of talk about it. Is I think it's a duty that some of us have, especially people of color, to say that we can do the job. It's available and it's out there. It's a great career to have, serving the community and doing whatnot. And it's definitely it makes a difference.
Right.
And so those that are willing to challenge themselves, because you gotta do it. You gotta keep swimming. You can't give up. You gotta. It's one of those things you can't. It's not just like I'm gonna apply, like I'm gonna go get a job at Macy's or something, and then they call you back and HR says you're hired. It's a true process. It took me 2 years in preparing and getting ready to be able to even take a test, to go through the interview process and make it happen. But it's just truly rewarding on the other end.
Right.
So I definitely, for those that are thinking about it, that have those questions, that want to have stories like this, definitely feel free to hit up Adrian and and try to get to my contact information or whatever else. And I'm willing to help anyone that's willing to help themselves. Yep. Right. And that's the biggest thing is you're willing to put in some work. I'll work with you because it's definitely that much. It's so rewarding on the other end of it. Yep.
Nah, that's beautiful, bro.
You're gonna get weeded out if you ain't really truly ready and trying to put in this work.
Yeah, I mean, I started an academy with 30 people, 17 graduated. So the process weeds it out, right? The process happens, and at the end of the day, if you want it, you get it. Yeah. You want it to get it. We say it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. The person that doesn't get hired is the person that stops testing. We had a person in this last class that was like, I think, 38, 39 that got hired. So age is not nothing that matters. Or somebody at 40 something got hired not too long ago. Like that's no big deal. Somebody 20 I had a 19-year-old in my class. So it's just a matter if you want it.
How bad you want it?
You can get it.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah.
And then that right there you answered my next question was what suggestions you have for people, but that was it right there.
Yeah, I mean that and look, I tell people this is my one little piece of advice is like related to relationships. If you want to get hired on the fire department, then you should be dating the fire department. Find out everything you know about them. Find out their testing process, when they're hiring, what testing stuff they're using. You don't just go on a date and not ask questions and bring the specific things. Firemen love pies. So, when you stop by a station and ask questions, bring a pie with you, you date them, right? So you need to date the process and become, low-key obsessed with learning how to become a firefighter or the process that it takes, and go to no end in doing it.
Right.
And I think that's the thing. If you have that grind, that grit, to want to serve and to actually, be a part of something like this, then go after it.
Right.
And it's going to take sacrifice. There's a lot of sacrifice that comes from it. But the reward on the other end is far more than the sacrifice.
That's good.
The academy is 6 months. I spent 6 months in the academy. No TV, no out, no birthdays, no nothing, right? And what they say is they kind of talk to your family and say, hey, give us them for 6 months and we'll give them to you for 30 years. Right. And it's accurate, it's definitely something that's beneficial. So
that's good.
If you want it, get at it, but it'll weed you, it'll eat you up too. If you don't really want it, it'll
let you know.
It'll show you real quick. Yeah. Yep.
That's good. I like it, man. I like it, Detrick, man. So I have 2 questions for you, man. Then we're gonna wrap it up.
Cool.
So first question is you're on the Just Keep Swimming podcast. So within your firefighting career, where are you still swimming to?
I like that. So, as I think I stated early on, like I'm someone that doesn't get stagnant, right? I'm constantly going. So, the reality for me is actually I'm coming up on my 3-year anniversary as a firefighter.
Okay, congrats.
And I'll be starting paramedic school in September. Okay. Right? So on our department, paramedic it's another rank and opportunity. So you have your firefighter, and you have a firefighter paramedic, you have your captain, you have your engineer. Those are the ones that are the main spots that are at the station or on a rig. Okay. Beyond that, you got your battalion chiefs and your administrative chiefs and whatnot. But where I'm swimming to right now, I'm swimming to that paramedic spot. That will give me the ability to be, in control of the medical scene. And give me some more abilities to give drugs, narcs and stuff like that on medical calls for pain and things like that. And just to expand my knowledge, right? Paramedic school is another year. So never stop learning. It's definitely a spot where I'm in. And then I can see myself doing, I probably at some point in time would love to be a captain, right? And so I'm swimming to a spot that's gonna continue to work for me and my family, and ultimately allow me to continue to provide and serve the community.
Beautiful.
And that's where I'm swimming to right now. And I think the department is gonna allow me that ability. A hard swim, and it's something that that I'm doing, is trying to get more minorities and more black folks hired in the department. And it's not an easy feat. I've been passionate about it since I got on. Got a number of folks that are doing it or that are in the process. And that's something I'm just going to keep after, right? Yeah. So you'll always see me kind of pushing and driving and striving to do certain things that are going to be advocating for those individuals to be on the departments, to have that reflection, because the reality in our black community, you don't see it all the time. Right. And I want to be able to add to the individuals where you can actually see black individuals in the first responder spot. So that's where I'm swimming to. I want to just continue to make some change. Be a splash in the pond that makes some of those ripples, and then look back and say, okay, I did something.
That's beautiful, bro, and that's good. And I feel, right now this is the perfect platform for that, because me being a black male, I did not know all this stuff about the fire department at all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we could totally do a
whole 20-minute episode.
Oh, we could do another 2, 3, 4, 5 segments, because it's
deep.
There's so many facets of this career field. There's so many facets to go into. It's just and to pieces to learn about that people don't really
even realize exists right now. For me, for sure, I didn't realize all this stuff exists, bro. That's amazing to me, man. That's amazing. And then my very final question is the question I ask every one of my guests. Is there a quote you would like to leave us with? Maybe a quote that you guys use in the fire department or anything of such? Quote, little saying.
Quote, saying.
Something, yeah.
Fire service, not specific.
Or maybe a personal one that use.
It's just not fire service. We got, I guess there's some, we're sarcastic folks. There's a lot of sarcasm and stuff between us, but something that has continued to kind of go with me, and I'll bring it back. It was a poem that I learned when I was actually in college. It's called Excuses. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
yeah, excuses, mindless nothingness.
Yeah, excuses are tools of the incompetent, used to build monuments of nothing, and those who specialize in them seldom achieve anything else.
Okay, I heard the other way. I heard it: excuses are monuments of nothingness, tools of the incompetent, and those who practice them usually amount to nothing else.
Okay, yeah.
So same principle,
same concept, and that's something that I've lived with for a long time. I hold on to it, and for me, people have an issue with taking responsibility for themselves and things that they've done. And so, not only in life in general, but like in the desire to get onto the fire service and to be a good husband and a good father and all, if you come with an excuse, then it don't work.
No.
Right? I had some cool bosses before that, I would bring up a problem and they say, okay, well, what's the solution, right? And I think for most people, if you don't think in that concept where you don't come with an excuse, come with some type of solution. Come with think this through. Don't just give up on what that is right then and there. You end up raising yourself to a whole different level in being able to shed that light, right? Yeah. And to go past.
To find your light, low-key.
Yeah. So, I walked into a workshop late one time, and the presenter was like, okay, why are you late? how you do people when they come in.
Yeah.
And I said I didn't plan to. I said I left without enough time to prevent myself from being caught from something, and so I apologized.
Right.
Or something along those lines. And she wasn't expecting for me to own on the fact that if I would have left sooner, I would have got there on time and wouldn't have been late. And so, she said something to me later or whatever. She's like, I didn't, because her face was like, oh,
you can tell.
Like, I didn't expect. So, no, I took ownership. Like, you have to plan for the fact that there could be an accident.
Yeah.
You got to plan for these things. Like, don't walk out the door 20 minutes before your appointment that's 20 minutes away. Because you walk out to a flat tire and then now you're done, right?
Yeah.
So that poem to me is just like, at the end of the day, just own it.
Yeah.
Don't come with any excuse. Accept responsibility for whatever it is, and then move on from there. So that's something I would like to leave, and you got to have that in a day in and day out. I mean, so many people give excuses, and it gets on my nerves.
No, and look, as a fighter, you can't have no excuses. Like you said, you can't go knock on the door and be like, hey man, sorry, I was trying to eat real quick. I'm here now.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
right.
So
I was taking a nap. That's why we're late and your house burned down. Sorry.
Yeah. So I love it, man. Ownership.
Yeah,
Ownership.
you gotta take ownership, and I think that's a quality or it's a thing that you just like. It's good to have. You should have, and it just brings and makes you a whole different type of person.
Yes.
And I know for me, I hear when you let that sit in and you own it and you live with it, you'll listen to people talk and listen to how many people
make excuses. Yes. Yeah, so you just hit the nail on the head. Yeah. No, and that's beautiful, bro. And I love it. And that's me personally. I take responsibility for everything. Right. Just because even if I feel I was a part of that outcome, I'm gonna take responsibility for it because that's what I do. I own up to what I've done and what I do. So that's real. Yeah.
I mean, shoot, I had a meeting today and it was just like looking at the numbers, and I think I led like 2 or 3 like assessments. I could have done more on those assessments and stuff like that. Just like, I mean, I did this. Probably didn't know any better, but I mean, shoot, I should have asked.
And I got it for next time.
Asked y'all to see, okay, what should I do about this lead in terms of keeping it in? It is what it is, but I'll know what to do better next time.
Yep. Always strive for something better, something more.
Always more.
Yep.
I like it, bro. I love it, man. I love it, Detrick, man. So, yeah, man. I just want to say I appreciate you being here again with us, bro. I felt that was an amazing conversation.
Yeah.
I learned so much, 1, about you, and then 2, about just what it is to be a firefighter, fire department, and emergency services in general. The type of mindset you guys got to have to serve the community in the ways that you guys do, Right. So I truly appreciate you and everybody in the emergency services, first responders, everybody listening. We salute you guys. Definitely. We truly appreciate you guys. Applaud you guys for doing this every single day, and I truly appreciate you guys.
No, Adrian, bro. Man, I appreciate the invite. Obviously, my thing is just getting more people interested about it, thinking about it, and then it helps me reflect, right? Like over just 3 years, really young when it comes. I'm still considered a rookie in the fire service. 5 years is kind of when you kind of make your mark or whatnot, but. For me, I'm just excited to continue to give to the community that raised me,
right?
And I want to continue to help, right? And that's so good. I appreciate the opportunity to be here on this platform. My first podcast.
You did great, bro. You did great.
And being able to get out there, and I hope, like I said, that it touches someone. They reach out, and that we just get some more folks engaged, involved, and educated about what it is that we do.
Exactly, and that's how I feel about it, bro. The education's the key, man. So as long as anybody heard what you said today, I feel you touched somebody. You did a great job, bro. Cool. So I truly appreciate you, Detrick. And we will have some more episodes with you for sure.
Let's do it. I got plenty of guests and folks and discussion topics and a lot of stuff we can do. And I love the vibe. Like it's perfect. It's chill and it definitely like I said, it's truly informative. And I'm glad you had those people reach out and ask questions. Those definitely questions you have. Tell people too. Hey, I know we're in COVID and the pandemic and whatnot, but as soon as things lighten up, find your nearest fire station. Go by Marie Callender's and grab a pie. Stop by your fire station and learn and know who your firefighters are. Stop by, hang out. We love talking.
Yeah.
They'll show you all the stuff around in the equipment, the rigs, and take pictures and do all kind of stuff.
I didn't expect you can just drop by.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't gotta make a call or nothing. I just go knock on the door.
Stop by. Normal hours. Just come to normal business hours, 9 to 5.
No.
Stop by. If you come around noon, you're gonna hop in on lunch. You come around 5, you're gonna hop around on dinner. But it's your public dollar. It's your station. It's a public facility. You can stop by. Stop by. Beautiful. Say hey. And have a conversation and meet your firefighters because that's what we're there for at the end of the day. And so if you don't know where it is, I'm pretty sure go up on Google Maps and say fire station near me and it'll come up.
Sure, it's one walking distance from you.
Yep. And the reality is that you definitely have the ability and the right to, come and say hey. And I know I love it just for the simple fact of, it's our house. You can see what's going on. You can see the rigs. You can see, our kitchen. See what we got in there cooking. I know I can make a slamming fresh salsa. It's just a lot of stuff you learn. But come by. So that's why I tell somebody to stop by a station once everything's going on and kind of dies down when it comes to this pandemic. But stop by your station, say hello. We appreciate and love seeing the people in our community come by and say hey. So
gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah. So yes, make sure to go by your local fire station, drop off a pie, say thank you.
Yeah.
And show some love, man. Show some love. So yeah, Detrick, once again, bro, I appreciate you 128%, man.
Appreciate you.
Yes. Donovan, you already know, bro. Another great episode.
Yes, sir.
Another mind blown episode. I don't know if you just mind blown as I am, but
I was considering it.
Yes, yeah, and that's real. That's real. Like it was always a thought, but I just learned so much today. I wish I could have took that path for sure.
Yeah. Hey, it's never too late.
Never too late. Yeah.
Never too late.
Never too late. I gotta get this Achilles right, but never too late. Yes. So, like we said earlier, any comments, questions, concerns you got from Mr. Detrick and want to learn more about the fire department, definitely Las Vegas, the fire department, send your questions, comments, concerns to our Instagram, our Facebook, or our Gmail at jkspodcast702@gmail.com. And I'll make sure that he gets the questions and get some responses back to you right away. Everybody out there listening today, I truly appreciate you guys for listening for another great episode. Everybody who sent in questions, I truly appreciate the questions. I'm going to start throwing it out there a little more so we can get some more interaction from you guys because I know you guys got a lot of questions you do want to ask. So we're going to get that going. Other than that, I hope everybody has an amazing day. Okay?
Oh, call in.
Oh, not yet. We'll get to the call-in later, man. We'll get to that side later. Anyway, I just want to say I hope you guys have an amazing day. Have a wonderful afternoon. Have a splendid evening. And remember, just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Go ahead and say it, Detrick.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. All you gotta do is swim, swim, swim.